Ride or die.
So guys, welcome back to the channel. Today you join me from the driver's seat, from something that, in all fairness, if I was 20 years old right now, and this was 12 years ago now, 32, I would be literally wetting my pants. This is an R32 Mark 5 Golf. Why would I wet my pants on this? Well, at the end of the day, 12 years ago, I could not afford this car. It was so expensive, and the reality of me even driving one excited me greatly, but I've never shot one for the channel. So I put something out there and I said I'd really like to shoot a Mark 5 Golf. So the owner came to me with this R32 variant and said, listen mate, I've got one, let's shoot it. So today I'm so grateful. You subscribers out there are absolutely awesome. I'm in one of your subscriber cars today. What we're going to do is, like we always do, is go out and enjoy this thing, see what it's about, see what that 3.2 litre is like with the four-wheel drive. This is a DSG variant as well, so it's actually sort of the spec car that I would buy, if I'm quite honest. This is the one that I would want. But anyway guys, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, but onwards to the B roads. That sounds so good. That 3.2 litre through this exhaust system. Mate, I'm going to start this video, right, with sort of saying that cars like this won't exist ever again. So I'm going to say that these are going up in price. I have seen them go up in price. The Mark IV R32 of the Mark IV generation, they've already gone up. They're actually getting really, really expensive at the moment. This is the next one to go up. I already think they have gone up. You could buy these for 4 grand, 5 grand at one point. Now, I had a look earlier, there's real dogs for like 6 to 7. Always wanted an R32 of any generation. I suggest you go and buy one now because they are increasing in price very rapidly at the moment. Now, this one today is a Mark 5 with 116,000 miles on it. I want to grab this one because it's probably the one that is readily available on the internet to buy. First gear, second gear even. Sounds so good. Now, this one being, as I've just said, a car that is probably readily available. It hasn't got the wing backs, but I'm a fan of comfy seats in VAG cars, Audis, VWs, certain things like that. So I would actually probably opt for these. I know that the R32 should come with wing backs, so should RS3s, but if you're daily driving one of these and you've got a bad back and you're like me, you'll probably appreciate a bit more of a comfier seat. So yes, for resale, I think the wing backs are about 2 grand these days if you wanted to buy this one and then go and put them in. But I would probably find one, if you're going to daily drive it, I'd find one with the comfy seats, but they're a lot more desirable with the wing backs. This one being the DSG variant, this is sort of the entry, again, level DSG of this generation, because not a lot of other cars really had DSG at the time. So this was sort of, you know, one of the first stabs from the German manufacturers to actually put a DSG gearbox in a small car. And, you know, we're 2021 now, and you drive, you know, various cars that have fantastic gearboxes, especially flat wheel paddle stuff. I don't think this is a million miles away from what I was expecting. I do feel like in drive it is very, very sloppy, but it's very relaxed. You put it in sport, it is actually quite sharp for what it is. I'm very, very impressed, considering I had a, you know, basically the same idea, or at least generation, RS3. So I can actually pitch this car, you know, sort of against that car in a sense, just down to gearboxes more than anything. And I feel like the S-Tronic from this generation would have been just that hair slower. This feels a lot faster than I was expecting. the four-wheel drive system's fantastic in this, I must admit. Obviously, we can't go mad in this car today because it is, you know, a subscriber's car, but just enjoying it down a dry road, it is hilariously point and squirt, this car. You can sort of chuck it in and yeah, that's really, really impressive. It hunkers into the turn quite nicely. The four-wheel drive, you can feel, is really working with you. No understeer like you would get in an Audi, or not, you know, on this shoot. I can't really feel it. My RS3, if we're going back, it understeered really bad and pushed at the front end because of the, you know, weight where the engine is, various things. You've got to remember, this is a big old engine in the front of this, and to manufacture a chassis this small with a four-wheel drive system to actually cope with that size engine in the front of it. Again, going back, I know a lot of people may not, you know, realise this, but this was a huge engine to put in the front of one of these cars. And, you know, VR6s from previous eras had the same thing, where it was a massive engine, really, in such a small car. And going back, we're going past a Golf R now, 2-litre turbo. Yes, it's faster, yes, it's all this, blah, 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 but there's nothing like a naturally aspirated engine. A very picturesque location. So what we'll do is take a quick look round this R32 Golf. The Mark 5 chassis is probably one of the best chassis in my opinion. Well, it's probably my favourite chassis ever. I don't know why, don't ask me why, but I absolutely love these cars so much. But we'll have a quick look round. Now, this one's actually sat on some different wheels, so aftermarket wheels on this one. But as we come to the front, I will point out this has got a black grille. Now, usually I think the UK ones would have come with a chrome or at least a satin silver front grille. Do like the change up there with the black grille, but these R32s actually came with xenon headlights. I think these were an option on the GTI. You could get them with or without, but these, I think to my knowledge, all came with the xenon. Now, I would say this configuration of a two-door in blue would be the one to go for. These are the ones that I think everybody sort of lusting after. I think this is the one I would definitely go for if I was to ever buy one. But as we come round, usual Golf, you know, bits and bobs. We will come round to the back. You've got the R32 spoiler, sort of the same as the GTI one, I suppose, if you're just looking at them on face value. The rear bumper, though, is where it changes quite dramatically. You have a centre exit twin exhaust system at the bottom, with this R32 Volante just going down there. Again, the blue paintwork, unfortunately, this has been driven, so it's not as clean as we want it to be today. It rained just before the shoot, so bloody typical UK weather. But as you can see from the inside, leather door cards with this aluminium trim going around the cockpit, as you can just see there. R32 steering wheel with the flappy paddles from that DSG gearbox just at the top there. And as you can see, this one has the non-bucket seat option that I've already said about. These are the comfiest seats you can get in a Mark 5. So personally, if I was daily driving one of these, I would definitely go after those seats in my R32. And this one, as you can see, has got the R32 dials in it. It has climate control digital in these R32s, and it actually has an aftermarket head unit, as these ones are a little bit dated now. But yeah, all in all, actually quite big inside of these. Completely forgot how spacious they actually were. It's even got the R pedals just down there. Really, really cool interior, but I'm very biased because I love these cars. But that's enough of me rambling on. Let's jump back in the car and collect my thoughts and drop the car back, unfortunately. The exhaust system, again, I think, you know, the V6 sings in this, especially with an exhaust system on it. It drives quite light on its feet, actually. I always thought the Mark 5 was quite heavy, but after driving newer cars, you realise that they aren't as heavy as you thought they were. Yes, in the generation, this was, oh, it's a bit of a heavy car. That's not a bad thing, because I quite like a bit more of a heavier drive in a car sometimes. This one just feels, it really feels tight. Super tight, even at 116,000 miles. That's, again, not a lot of mileage. It doesn't feel like it's this old and this, you know, mileage. It's neither of them are bad things. Trust me, I love the Mark 5 chassis. I probably should say I, you know, had a 1.6 litre when I was 19, 20, could not afford a GTI. No way in hell would I have been able to get an R32, I'll tell you that for nothing. So it's actually really refreshing to me to actually jump in this thing, you know, all these years later and realise that it's actually as good as I thought it was going to be. So ownership wise, well, I'm going to say if you are after one of these, buy it now. They are increasing. Like, I don't think people have noticed that they've increased so much in such a short space of time. Everything's going up, I get that, but niche cars like this, I feel, are going to increase even quicker than we realise. And I've already seen it after looking at these, you know, a couple of years ago, and then, you know, today, or at least last month, when I actually decided I want to go drive one of these. They have increased incredibly quickly. Now, I'd say if you are going to go for one of these, don't really worry about the mileage too much. Again, I do feel that you should be very conscious of servicing and stuff. Running costs. Now, the biggest running cost you're going to factor in is obviously petrol, but the tax. £600 a year to tax this car, which was always the downfall of the R32. And I get that, I see why people would shy away, but it's only a yearly thing, and in fact you can pay it monthly these days. So again, not a massive inconvenience, but it is something that you do need to know. R32 3.2 V6 is going to drink a lot more than other little hot hatches will, so you've got to factor that in as well. You are 15 to 20 mpg, maybe even lower, when you are enjoying yourself. Insurance costs, well, the owner of this car is in his late 30s, he's only paying £400 a year to insure this thing. Ballpark, yes, you're probably going to be paying a little bit more than you would on other cars, but definitely go get a quote, see what you think about the price. To fill the tank up is 65 quid, and again, you'll be getting, you know, 15 to 20 mpg, depending on how you enjoy your R32. One thing I must say though is get the Haldex serviced. I had it done on my RS3, this has just been done. It's around 150 quid, but it's definitely something you need to keep on top of with these, not necessarily older, because it's not an older car, but these cars from this generation could do with having their Haldex done sooner rather than later when you buy it. I would just say get it done. All in all, driving the R32 around in 2021 is a really good experience for me, as I enjoyed the car, watching it increase in price, and I can see why. The naturally aspirated engine, the four-wheel drive system, everything about these cars is never going to be remade. And the reality is, if you're not going to buy one now, they're going to be 10 to 15 grand very, very soon, and then onwards and upwards from there. So if you are after one, buy one now. I know I'll be trawling eBay for the next years to come, watching the prices going up and wishing I'd bought one. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one.